The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna is a heartbreaking tale of survival set against the backdrop of Alaska's unforgiving wilderness. In 1974, Lenny Walker decides to flee her abusive husband in Seattle with her two young kids. 13-year-old Ron and 10-year-old Cora, they move to a remote Alaskan town where Lenny hopes to start a new life and find solace. But as winter descends upon them, they face unimaginable challenges. As the temperature drops below zero, the relentless blizzard isolates the family from the rest of the world. With roads impassable, food supplies dwindling, the harsh Alaskan winter threatens to destroy them. But what truly tests their limits is not the freezing cold, but the darkness within themselves and the secrets that bind and break families. While Lenny is a strong, resilient woman who fights to protect her children, she, too, is haunted by her past and wrestling with her inner demons. Meanwhile, her daughter Cora finds herself navigating the complexities of adolescence. While confronting a traumatic event from her childhood that she's kept hidden, despite their individual struggles, the three must learn to rely on each other and dig deep within themselves to find the strength to endure. And as the Alaskan night closes in, they must confront not only the harsh realities of their situation, but also the darkest corners of their own hearts. Throughout the story, the isolation of the setting plays a crucial role in shaping their experiences and the overall atmosphere of the book. As the blizzard rages outside, cutting them off from any hope of rescue, the characters are forced to confront their past traumas and innermost fears. The vast and unforgiving Alaskan wilderness becomes a character in itself, emphasizing the resilience of the human spirit in the face of nature's raw power. Additionally, the mystery surrounding the family's past and the reason behind Lenny's decision to move to Alaska adds another layer of intrigue to the story. We gradually uncover the dark secrets that haunt Lenny, which shed light on her tough exterior and her fierce determination to protect her children at all costs. This novel explores universal themes of family, survival, trauma, and healing. Through the Walker's harrowing journey, Anna reminds us of the strength that can be found within the darkest moments of our lives. Ultimately, it's a testament to the power of hope and the enduring bonds of love between a mother and her children. My friends, today let us explore a haunting tale of a homeless girl who touched the heart of a ruthless CEO. Join me as we delve into the world of the girl who shared her last piece of bread. Let's begin. The wind was biting cold that evening, rushing through the alleys of the city as if to remind everyone who walked the streets that winter was merciless. People hurried past, bundled in warm coats, scarves, and gloves, their faces buried in collars. But amidst the rush of humanity, a young girl in a torn sweater sat huddled against the wall of a bakery, clutching a small paper bag close to her chest. Her name was Amara, and she was only 16. Homeless, with no family left to return to, she had been fighting each day to survive, sometimes skipping meals so she could save a little bread for the next morning. That night, she had been fortunate enough to gather a few coins cleaning tables at a small roadside cafe, just enough to buy a piece of bread. It was the only thing she had eaten all day. Her thin fingers trembled as she opened the bag, but before she could take a bite, she heard the faint sound of coughing. Looking up, she saw an old man sitting at the corner of the street, his clothes ragged, his eyes hollow with hunger. He looked like someone who hadn't eaten for days. Amara's stomach ached with emptiness, but as she watched him struggle even to lift his head, she felt her heart ache more. Slowly, she got up and walked toward him. "Sir, are you hungry?" she asked softly, kneeling beside him. The old man's lips trembled as he gave a weak nod. Amara bit her lip, looked at the bread in her hand, and without another word, broke it in half. She pressed the larger piece into his hands, keeping the smaller one for herself. The man's eyes filled with tears as he chewed slowly, whispering, "Bless you, child. No one has been kind to me in so long." Amara forced a smile, blinking back tears of her own. She knew what hunger felt, like she lived it every day. And yet, seeing someone else suffer somehow made her forget her own pain, even if just for a moment. But what Amara didn't know was that someone else was watching. Across the street, a tall man in a tailored suit stood silently beneath a lamppost. His name was Adrian Cole, a powerful CEO whose name was whispered in boardrooms and featured in business magazines. To most, he was a man who had everything: wealth, respect, power. Yet, Adrian was also a man who rarely felt moved by anything outside his empire. But that night, watching a ragged, starving girl give away her only meal to someone even weaker than herself, something shifted inside him. He had seen people donate when cameras were around. He'd seen false generosity used as a tool for image building. But this girl, she had nothing. And still, she gave. For the next few days, Adrian found himself unable to forget her face. He instructed his driver to take the same route each evening, hoping to catch sight of her again. Sure enough, he saw her sometimes searching trash bins for leftovers, sometimes helping other homeless children share what little she had found. Each act of kindness cut deeper into Adrian's heart, forcing him to confront a truth he had long ignored. Money could buy comfort, but it couldn't buy the purity of compassion he saw in that girl. One evening, Adrian finally approached her. She was sitting under a bridge, her arms wrapped around herself, shivering. "Amara, isn't it?" he asked gently, startling her. Her eyes widened. How? How do you know my name?" Adrian smiled faintly. I've been watching. You gave your bread to an old man when you had nothing for yourself." "Why?" Amara looked down. "Because I know what it feels like to be invisible, to be hungry. If I can make someone else feel less alone, even for one night, then maybe it's worth it." Her voice cracked, and Adrian felt a lump in his throat. For a moment, the CEO, the man who had closed million-dollar deals without blinking, didn't know what to say. He only knew one thing. He couldn't leave her in the cold another night. "Amara," he said firmly, "come with me. You don't belong here." She hesitated, suspicion flickering in her eyes. She had learned to be wary of strangers, especially well-dressed ones who looked like they belonged to a different world. But something in his tone, steady, almost fatherly, made her nod. Adrian took her to a warm restaurant first. He watched as she devoured a hot meal, tears streaming down her cheeks with each bite. Then he drove her to a shelter he personally funded, though he had never once stepped inside before. For the first time, he walked through those doors, holding Amara's hand like she was someone precious. But his help didn't stop there. Days turned into weeks. Adrian enrolled her in school, hired tutors to catch her up, and gave her a safe home. Amara, though overwhelmed, never lost her humility. She insisted on volunteering at shelters, helping others who were where she once had been. When Adrian's business partners questioned why he was investing so much time and resources into just a girl, his answer silenced them all. "She may be homeless, but she has given me something priceless: perspective. She reminded me what it means to be human." Years later, Mara would stand on a stage as a young woman, no longer in torn sweaters, but in clothes that reflected dignity and grace. She had become an advocate for the homeless, starting foundations funded by Adrian, but led by her vision. The girl who once had nothing was now giving everything she could to others because she knew exactly what it meant to be without. And Adrian, sitting in the audience, couldn't help but smile. He had built empires of glass and steel, but this girl's heart was his greatest investment. The story of a homeless girl who gave her bread to a starving elder had traveled far, but its true miracle was not in the bread shared that night. It was in the chain reaction of kindness. It sparked changing not just one life, but countless others. Because sometimes the smallest act of compassion can awaken greatness in places we least expect. And so, my friends, the tale of Amara and Adrian reminds us that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in the richness of our empathy and the warmth of our shared humanity. May we all find inspiration in Amara's selfless act and strive to be a little kinder, a little more compassionate, and a little less judging of those who walk different paths than us. Till next time, stay kind and keep an eye out for the extraordinary and the ordinary. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this story, please remember to hit the like button and share it with a friend. Your support means the world to me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you back for more heartwarming tales